The purpose of this video is to conduct a brief review of the course syllabus and the grading rubrics that will be utilized in the course. And at this point, you should have already printed out a copy of the syllabus or picked a copy up during class. Most of your instructors are probably using a syllabus that looks very similar to this one, but I need to draw your attention to some parts of the syllabus that are a bit different. You will notice that among the information provided in the instructor information screen is a reference to using Skype for office hours. Now, industry uses conference calling as part of routine communications now, so I think that it's important that I offer this to my students as well. Skype allows you to make phone calls for free to another Skype user, so those of you who do not want to eat up your cell phone minutes can sign up for Skype and make calls to me for free. I am a Skype premium customer, so if you and a study buddy both have the same question and want to speak to me at the same time, I can conference several people into the same video call. Now, in the course information section, you will see that I include a picture of what your textbook should look like. If you have any questions or if your book appears to be different, please give me a call. Now, if you move over to page 3, the section on participation is a little different from your other classes. In all of my classes, participation is 30% of your grade. And that means that if you do not participate, then the highest grade you can get in the class is a C. Now, there is no texting, sleeping, or disengaging in my classes, since participation is a way that I use to gauge whether or not the students understand the material. If you miss a class and want to make up the missed participation grade, there is a list of assignments that you can complete for any class you miss. And if you miss a class and fail to submit the participation assignment, the grade you will receive for that class that you missed is 0. Now, the test section sets forth that there will be 4 exams during the semester, and any student who has an A average in the course without rounding on the last day of instruction will not be required to take the final exam. And by the way, you want to do everything you can to get an A in the course, because the final exam is essay-based, comprehensive, and closed book. Now, in the table under course schedule, you will see the general pace of the class and the weeks I am anticipating that we will cover material. Now, this schedule is subject to change. You should consult the Blackboard calendar for your due dates. Now, you will notice that March 22nd is the last day to withdraw without academic penalty. Now, if you go down to General Course Environment, the policies relating to the extra credit work can be found in this section. Now, there are 2 important things to remember about extra credit work. 1, no extra credit points will be added to your grade until all work is submitted. If you have a 0 for any assignment, you will have to make up that assignment plus complete the extra credit work, and that includes missing participation grades. Extra credit assignments have a due date. That's the second thing that you need to remember. I do not accept extra credit work at the end of the semester because it creates a grading burden. So if you are interested in making an A in the course so that you do not have to take the final, you need to be submitting the extra credit work when it is due. Now, on page 5, appropriate use of technology is addressed in the section of the same name. Now, if you have portable devices that you use to communicate with your friends and access work, that is fine, but your answers to homework should not be drafted on Androids, Blackberries, or other portable devices. Now, typically work that is drafted on these devices, the work does not meet the standard for college level writing. Any assignment or email will not be read beyond the 5th error and will be returned to you for editing. Now that you are in college, your writing should reflect that level of achievement. Even today, with all of the education I have completed, I can still question my own writing. And if you have any questions on your spelling, look it up in a dictionary or use another word. If you have questions regarding your grammar, rewrite the sentence using another sentence structure. Text jargon should never be used in a formal academic communication. You may use text jargon in communication with me when we are texting in Skype or through other devices. Now, also on page 5, there is a section called Special Classes of Employment. And if you are active duty military, police, fire, EMS, or a disaster responder, volunteer or otherwise, please send me an email at the beginning of the semester so that I can accommodate you later on if you are called into work under emergency circumstances. Now, another section here is the use of Safe Assign. I use Safe Assign, which is a program through which I submit your work. And Safe Assign will compare your document to other documents on the internet and through a global database to make sure that it is original content. Anything that you use, text, pictures, tables, anything like that, that you did not create should be cited. Now let's talk about emergencies because things can happen. And on page 6 is my policy regarding emergencies. Where did we go here? Let's get back up here. There we go. Okay, this in section 2. Now, in order for there to be no confusion in the interpretation of this section, I will read it to you verbatim. That's this section right here that's underlined. At the time that the emergency becomes known to you, you should contact the instructor immediately if you will be missing any coursework or test. You should also provide documentation that substantiates the emergency. Now, an emergency is defined in this course as a serious injury or life-changing circumstance that impacts you personally or your immediate family. If another person is 100% dependent upon you for their care and provision, then a serious injury or life-changing circumstance that impacts that dependent will also qualify. Now, immediate family is defined as mother, father, stepmother, stepfather, brother, sister, step-siblings, a husband or wife, children, and stepchildren. Now, if you have any questions, you should contact me. Do not wait to speak with me next month about an emergency you had today. The more time you allow to accrue between the date of your emergency and the date you make me aware of it, the higher the likelihood is that I will be unable to help you. Now, even though we have gone over some very important parts of the syllabus, you should take time to read it in its entirety. Make sure that you email me any questions you have so that I can make those issues clearer to the entire class. So let's move on to the grading rubrics. Now, not all professors use grading rubrics, so I'm going to go over mine now. You can access the rubrics in Blackboard by clicking on the menu item entitled Syllabus and Rubrics. And once inside that section, you will see the two rubrics are available for your review. So let's look at the rubric entitled Rubric for Written Assignments. Okay, now you will see that each column classifies a certain level of work and the points that it will generate. Now the row indicates the categories by which I grade. So let's look at effectiveness in communication. If you want to achieve the maximum number of points in this section, which is college level work, you should make sure that your work is well organized, that it is written in standard English, and that it is error-free. Now, if you meet all those criteria, you will earn 20 points. Now, 2 errors contains, if you have 1 error, you'll gain 18 points. 2 errors will limit you to 16 points, and the points decrease based upon the number of errors. Now, you should read each category as you are writing your assignment so that you can maximize your points. Now, I'm also going to scroll down and go over the row entitled Use of Materials and References. If you do not relate your work to the textbook and cite it, the highest level of points you can gain is 16. Okay, and you'll see here that there's adequate evidence to support the content from the textbook, but it lacks the proper APA citations. If you don't provide a citation for your work, the maximum number of points you can get is 16. And at this level of study, we are not creating new ideas or new thoughts. That is why it is always important to cite your sources. If you get in a habit of doing it now, it will not be as big a deal as you continue into your higher level courses. Read the rest of the rubric and let me know if you have any questions. Now, sometimes students will answer a question and they believe that their answer is correct and they can prove it. And textbooks contain errors just like test banks. When I write my own test questions, I can make mistakes as well. If you find yourself in that circumstance, you want to contest the answer. You will see the criteria are also set up as a rubric. Now, if you want a favorable outcome, which means that you adequately prove your position and I give you back the points, you will need to make sure that you, 1, show me that the textbook is vague and that it's in the same chapter we are studying, and another source that you used, okay? Or there's a contradiction. In this category, there's a contradiction, that the textbook does not address the question or it's vague. In the third category, you want to show me that this textbook does not address the question at all. Maybe you used an alternative resource and it contradicts the answer on the test. Show me that you understand in this section, extent to which student illustrates understanding of material. Show me in this section, show me by writing a few sentences that you understand that why the answer as graded is either wrong or correct, and why your preferred answer is equally correct. And students use this all the time, and I do not take offense to your questioning my grading. If you meet all the criteria in this first column, then you have a very high probability of getting the points back. But you want to read this rubric if you're planning on contesting any of the answers in this course. Okay, so make sure you read the documents for yourself, and if you have any questions, give me an email.